don't have to tell them all the time. I remember when Christine, Christine Lane? What was her name? Used to come here? Kristen Lane. When she was at a coffee place over in Orlando. Do you remember that story? And she went ahead and she said, you know what, I was having a bad day, so I just said, go ahead and whatever those people were ordering, I just want to go ahead and pay for that. So she went ahead and did that. And she said she was gone for about 2 weeks, came back in line, went to go ahead and order her coffee or latte or whatever it was, and the lady said, oh, it's already paid for. She said, it is? Said, yeah. Said, this happened about 2 weeks ago. Somebody started this. It's been catching fire. It's just going through the lane. People are buying food for everybody else. Why? Because you pay it forward. You do something good in life. I mean, listen, even if it costs you something, it's okay. Because you're promoting goodwill. It will come back to you. It's the boomerang effect. If you throw boomerangs, guess what? If you don't duck, it's coming back at you. Bad and good. You talk about somebody else, somebody's talking about you. You cheat somebody, somebody's going to cheat you. You hit somebody's car, don't tell somebody, somebody's going to hit your car or scratch it with a key. You come out and say, how dare they? And then God would say unto you, do you remember? That's the way things work. And you know, we get so bogged down because of all the things that are happening. Do you think God cares about where the oil is and how much money gasoline is? You think He cares about that? When He owns the galaxy. My favorite joke used to always be when somebody asked me, where do you work? I said, I work for Galactic Enterprises Incorporated. Galactic Enterprises Incorporated. So, yeah, see, what do you do? I said, I do all kinds of things. Pray for people, promote goodwill. My father's very wealthy. What does your father do? He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, but he owns the hills. He's in real estate. He's in minerals. He's in health. He's in medicine. He's in everything. Galactic Enterprises. He owns it all. And guess what? So do you. Because if you're like me, the Bible says I'm a royal heir to the throne. I'm not an obscure person. I'm a son. I'm a daughter. A daughter and a son of the King Most High. I can put my shoulders back whether I have a nickel or $5,000 in my pocket and realize it's not who I am, it's whose I am. Is this doing anything for you? And so one of our members is in the hospital, sitting up in bed. Has he stopped talking? He's talking 24/7. I felt so bad for Michelle. She's sitting there. She said, ay, ay, ay. Everybody comes in. He's talking this. He's talking that. He's talking about the Lord. And he's sitting in his bed. I mean, it's like somebody shot him with adrenaline, and he's like, man, his eyes are wired. You know, he's ready for anybody. You would think he'd be sitting, oh, my God, I'm not feeling good. And then here's the best part. Can I tell you the best part? And they would verify this, Norm was not a pleasant guy, was he? He was not a pleasant guy in years gone by. And they probably say, well, he's not pleasant on sometimes now, but he wasn't a pleasant guy, just from what I hear tell of him. Here he is sitting in the bed, just bawling like a baby, and said, my dad told me never to cry. He's wiping his tears, said, I'm embarrassed to do this. I said, don't be embarrassed. You sit in church, watch me cry in front of the pulpit. So you don't get an excuse. I couldn't even get through a song this morning, started crying. The life that we live is to show people this is a life worth living. Why do you go to church? So people will notice me? So I can give money to the church? You go because you love God. I go because I love God. I love you. Yeah, God's called me to the office, but you listen, I felt terrible that I was late this morning. I felt terrible, but you know what? I went and did what I said I was going to do. I told him, I'll be there to pray for you before I go to church. So you do the right thing. The people are looking at you all over. We had some people come to church when Lori was here, an older couple. Some of you might have seen them. I didn't know who they were. Phyllis works at Bell's. And she decided, where's Bruce at? Oh, there's Bruce right there. You know what it's like at Bell's, right? You got to put a smile on because they'll try to take it off of you. People are mean. They're cruel. They're unruly. They're unjust. Sometimes they're like animals. Anybody work retail? When you work retail, man, people will beat you up. And so she just puts a smile on. I have to help her sometimes when she comes home because she's all worn down from people. But she gives and gives and gives and gives and gives a smile. Well, these people, after a while, this guy said to her, he said, Phyllis, can I tell you something? She said, yeah. He said, you're the main reason we come to Bell's. Did you know that? She said, no. He said, you brighten the place up with your smile. We just love to watch you smile and how you take care of people. So, lo and behold, they coming in all the time, and she finds out they're Christians, and they talk about the Lord all the time, and so she told them about Lori, and they came to see Lori. And I got a little note the other day, little card, said, we would love to have you over for dinner, just so we could talk to you. They don't know me from Adam. And she works at the store. How many people have asked you at your job because they come there and buy parts, and they've said, come to dinner? That just doesn't happen. Why is it happening? Who can tell me? I would say they're inquiring about something. They inquire because they require whatever she has they want. Now, I'm not saying they're not born again, but there's a difference between being born again and being happy born again. I know some people that are born again I don't like to be around. They'll drag me down. You got to stay up. You got to stay happy. When life serves you lemons, what do you do with them? You got to make lemonade. People are counting on you in your school, where you work, where you shop. There's a lady, when I was leaving the hospital, I'm on my merry way and just running and bustling, and I almost ran into her. And I could tell in the elevator there's just something about this lady. She came off the second floor. Second floor is either ICU or critical care. So I said, did you come there to visit somebody? She said, yeah, my husband. He's dying of cancer. I said, you know that for sure? She said, yeah. She said, but he's ready to go home. And so I'm going to rejoice with him. I'm going to spend a little bit of time with him. She had the right attitude. I said, do me a favor. Just remain faithful unto the Lord. She said, oh, don't worry about that. I will. That's what life is all about. Even in the midst of death, extreme. When your grandfather passes away or your father-in-law, it's difficult, isn't it? Nobody likes to see death happen. But it's a lot easier when they're older. They've lived a good life. You've all seen the movies where you see the family gathered around and they're rich people and they couldn't wait for them to die. I want to close with this one story. How many of you know what the Twilight Zone is? One of my favorite Twilight Zones. There's a guy, he's become very wealthy, he came from a hard life, and he's in a wheelchair, he's on a breathing apparatus, and he doesn't have much time to live. So he's got his trust, he's got everything made out, and he invites his whole family members to come over. So they all come over, and there's not one of them that are pleasant. They're just mean, ugly, ornery people. And so he says to them, he'll say things like, he never wanted anything. Well, you couldn't wait for it until I died. So he said, here's the deal. I've got masks for every one of you. Did you ever see this one? He said, I've got masks for every one. I want you to put them on. They said, this is stupid. This is ridiculous. We don't have to wear this mask. He said, if you want what's in the estate, you do. Part of my trust. I said, okay. So they put them on. They were hideous. They had frowns and big, some of them looked like this, and like all contorted and stuff like that. Wore those masks and had to wear them for 3 hours. They're watching the clock tick, And the one lady says, it's almost like it's a part of my face. I can't stand this anymore. I said, don't take it off. You won't get any money. So they're waiting. Finally it goes ding, ding, 12 o'clock midnight. He goes, and he dies. Like, take these stupid masks off. They took them off. Everybody's taking their masks off. And one guy happens to look at the girl and he goes, oh! He said, what's the matter? He said, your face! Their faces had become the mask. They got all the money, but they had to walk through life like that. Can you imagine what it'd be like to have possessions or to have things, but not have the joy of the Lord, which is your strength? You've got to have that desire. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. When desire comes, it's the tree of life. God wants you to have those things. And people say, well, you know what? I don't have good health. I have a trouble with money. Why don't you check out why? What are you doing with it? If you only have so much money, are you going out somewhere instead of paying your bills? No, it's not fun. That's what a Christian does. They pay their bills on time. I've been down that road, I know. Give things when it's unpleasant. I've taken tithes and given them before. Somebody said, hey, that's a beautiful tithe. I really like that. I say, you want it? Give it to them. What's a tithe? I've got more. Do you understand that you don't possess anything? You hold things. That's why you acquire wealth, so you can give it away. And God doesn't mind you keeping some of it.